Good afternoon. Welcome to Wildflower Garden Tarot. I got a little bit of a late start. I just haven't been feeling good today. And I noticed like last night I had a really bad headache and going to sleep. I listened to other readers who also weren't feeling great. So new moon last night, a lot going on in the world and, probably empath. So if you're feeling kind of shitty, it might be just a thing right now. Welcome again to new subscribers. I'm really, really very grateful for you. It's very nice. And so what I do is now I am pulling oracle cards before I start filming just to save some time. And then really giving the tarot a lot of prayer and a lot of thought and a lot of shuffling. And so an interesting thing happened while I was doing it. So what we got was the solar plexus chakra. That is the Archangel Michael. And the solar plexus chakra, which is actually interesting that it came out because it is here, right where I was not feeling well. And it says it is safe for you to be powerful and to take charge of your life in positive ways. In the book, it also reminds you kind of to remember who you are, right? That you have given your power to others in the past, but now is the time to reclaim this power. We spoke about this yesterday in the reading where the divine feminine always seems to attract these losers, right? Like, this has happened to myself. And the cups from these people can never be filled. And even in trying to leave that situation, it's very difficult for you to leave that situation because you don't want to let go of it. You don't want to admit defeat in a way. You don't think that they can survive without you. And then in the leaving process, you discover that not only can they survive without you, but they're going to try to take you to the cleaners. So just remember your own... So if that applies to you in any way, just go and check that out. It was yesterday's reading. So then this card coming out says, to speak your truth. What is that quote? To speak your truth even if your voice shakes, right? But not to overcompensate, not to become mean about it, which I can't imagine any of my listeners that would be a thing. And then we got past life issues. So what we're going to deal with today apparently is that what's going on for you now is karma, partially, that you are in this life, you're finishing up things you weren't able to complete in other lives. And so I left this out because while I was shuffling, this guy actually flew out, and it's the Devil card. And this speaks very clearly also to yesterday's reading and to these. This is actually from, what's this called? The Angel Therapy Oracle deck. But this is speaking about people who get into abusive relationships or relationships, especially with a narcissist, that is hard to pull away from, almost impossible. And people can say, well, why don't you just leave? Well, it's hard to just leave. There's a lot of the frog in hot water things. You've given up your power for so long that you forgot that you had it. So then this speaks to this, right? So this, in the Devil card, see those two? They're tied together by nothing. I mean, they could, in fact, the guy, for sure, his hands are free. Hers probably are too. Um, but I mean, they could be released of their bond. But it's the energy that keeps them together. All right? So that's what we're going with. I'm very interested in what the past life issue or issues would be. So, Spirit, just tell us a little something more. More here. Whoa. The Queen of Wands. Okay. Anything else? This one. And Death. It just, I don't always take the bottom card, but that one, it actually told me to take the bottom card. So, I mean, we're doing this in, like, I'm kind of wondering about the past life issue, and then we get the Queen of Wands and Death. I don't think someone's trying to, I'm not sure. You know what, I'm just going to make sure they come out, because this seems to be a little tricky. This Queen of Wands seems to be very aware of her power. Okay, let's have a little bit more. See, they're being stubborn now. They might just want me to deal with these two. No. Injustice. Holy smokes. Okay. Huh. You see this chickie poo? Does that look like somebody who had an issue with knowing her own power? There's the Death card. See, this card also, the Raven is holding talismans. And two ravens, which is really interesting because I'm Nordic. And, you know, in Norse mythology, you know, I wish I knew what those symbols were. I'm going to have to look this up. If you know what they are, please put it in the comments below. But that's Odin's ravens that are hugging and munning. And the ravens go... See, I'm more interested in the ravens. The ravens... are the spies for the god Odin. And so they fly over the earth and they whisper in Odin's ear what's going on. And yet this is used for death. And then, of course, justice. And I looked at this and Spirit said justice is blind. Unjust. The past life, you were unjust. You were unjust. This life has been given to you for you to have empathy. I'm just going to read to see what this book says. This book is not very informative. Spirit just says to be manipulative and cruel. She doesn't necessarily look cruel, but she does look manipulative. Oh. Okay. See, my stomach, I looked at that, as soon as it said manipulative and cruel, my stomach started to hurt. So that's my solar plexus. Sorry. Her dragons serve not only as ornament, but they reflect her enthusiasm and vibrancy. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you see, she has two dragons. Oh, my stomach. There's something about this that is really affecting my own solar plexus, like my own power. She has two dragons. Death has 2 ravens. And justice. Oh. Two lives, at least. Justice. This life is justice for previous lives. Sorry to say. Sorry to say. Holy smokes, this is a very... I was wondering if this was going to be a really powerful reading, just because... wow, okay. And because, like, you see my skin is goosebumpy, and Queen of Swords is on the bottom. Okay. This situation has a basis on your previous lifetimes. Ask your angels to help you remember, release, learn, and heal from your past experiences. So, Spirit is saying that for some of you, there was selfish cruelty. Oh, there's one hiding. Selfish cruelty. And that one life you were a feminine, one life you were a masculine. One life you maybe used magic. One life you had spies. So you were very... Oh. Okay, so your past lives, you were very controlling of other people. Your justice is that you have had to face a situation in your life where you were the one who was being controlled and had to give up your power. But you're coming to the end of your cycle, because this isn't a... I was just going to say, this isn't necessarily that you were cruel, but then Spirit corrected me. It's like, wait and see. Because, okay, we have justice here. The next card that comes out also has scales. And scales have been showing up in a lot of my readings. See that? Followed by this guy. And this guy, which is interesting, because this is the guy I'd like to marry. Justice has been served. You may be at the end of your karmic cycle. I looked at this and then, you know, like I haven't even really, and Spirit just said justice has been served for you. Okay? The scales are even. Justice has been served. So instead of blaming your karmic, whether you're masculine or feminine, so many readings, including a lot of mine, have been focused on the karmic partner of the masculine, of this nasty woman. And that is just so much like in history. Like, it's just so much like the evil stepmother and blah, blah, blah. And the reading yesterday, and Spirit after, in conversation with me after, it's like, you know what? The karmics are men too. Look at your own life, right? So instead of blaming those people and making excuses about your life because of the abuse that you'd suffered, take the lessons that you can from the karmic relationship so that justice is served. Okay? Just accept it. Is like that was your consequence of past life actions, right? So that, and help your angels to help you to remember. So you can even read it on the bottom. To remember, release, learn, and heal from your past experiences. This way, the scales are going to tip in your favor. Right? And you can... Now, this is interesting. This Knight of Coins, the Knight of Pentacles, there's a bear in there. The bear... If you can do this... If you can do this, the scales will tip in your favor. Justice will be served. Yeah, okay. So embrace your power. This is the card of being tenacious. The bear hibernates all year, so it takes its rest. It learns its... This is kind of like that you can take your rest, that you've taken your rest, and that you've learned... You can learn the lessons that you need to learn. So that justice is served for you, that you've finished that karmic cycle, you know, and that the scales will tip in your favor, and that you can reclaim this power, right, and move forward. Reclaim this power. I'm just going to actually read that. Reclaim your power, and then, you know, embrace the power to be tenacious and dedicated in the pursuit of your goals. Right? So this knight will insist on having his or her way in the face of opposition or challenge. No compromises or backing down. Which makes sense, because this says you have all the power in the world, but use it wisely and don't use it meanly. To be tenacious and not backing down doesn't mean you're being mean. It just means that you are being firm. It's like, okay, I've wasted enough time. I'm not being mean, but I've learned my lessons over here. Okay? And by doing so, you can attract or become this King of Cups energy. The King of Cups is a benevolent man. This man is creative and abundant, and he is kind. It's all the things that you want, either to be or to attract into your life. Okay? So that is really interesting that we're having a total reading on your past life. I'm wondering, is there a twin flame in this? Okay, because if, right, is there, what is the rest of the karmic payout? Well, you're too worried. That red scarf. What is the rest of your karmic payout? And that came out. So let's see what else. What's the rest of the karmic payout? What can these people look forward to? 9 of Cups. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. This might be kind of a short reading. 6. Okay, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, a magic spell. There you've been in this 8 of Swords energy, worried about what's been behind you. You know, those 6 of Swords behind you. See the red scarf? Remember how I said, like, you're not really tied there? And same with this. You're not actually tied. Like, you're very loosely bound. This may be self-inflicted, right? that, you've been so scared in this life of what has transpired, that you've kept yourself bound up. Oh, Spirit just said you have been blaming your other person. Okay. But this is Spirit coming to release you, help you release yourself from your bonds and enjoy your Nine of Cups life. Because especially in this reading that was yesterday, I feel like these two readings are really closely tied together. That in this life that you've had your own abundance, despite this loser that you attracted, and that you've got trouble with. Right? Because here we have, remember I asked if there was a twin flame reunion or a wedding or something. This is usually a wedding. It's also 4 of Wands. It's 11, which is a twin flame number. The scale, justice has been served. The scales are in your favor. Queen. To embrace this Queen, I'm just going to see Queen of Pentacles, abundant life. I was going to say with or without a partner, and then Spirit said no, with a partner, with the right partner. Finally. The past lives were using trickery and sorcery and spies and nefarious ways to get what you wanted, and you never got what you wanted. You never got it in those lives. You never found true love in those lives. You never found true abundance. You might have found wealth. You might have found power and success in these lives, but you never found true abundance. You never knew in these lives what it was like to be loved for who you are. You always had to wonder if the people who were there were because of trickery, sorcery, or being forced against their will. This life, you've learned your lesson. You've escaped this devil energy. The scales are balanced, and they're in your favor now. To be successful in this karmic cycle, you really need to forgive your previous karmic partners. Okay? You have to. You have to learn your lessons from that. It doesn't mean to take shit from them, but it means to remember your own power. It means to remember who you are and to rely on Spirit and not on your own power or not on earthly things, because then Spirit will release you. And cheers. Soulmate. Okay. So we have a Queen of Coins and a King of Cups. That's a pretty nice company. Ah, there we go. And there, Empress. So, I think this is speaking to feminines primarily, or to women primarily, or feminines. But I mean, that isn't what your sexuality is, right? That's your femininity. If you're able to do all this, if you are able to release this karmic partner and forgive them and heal from that past experience, it will balance your scales. The slate is clean from your past lives, right? And this is your soulmate, and you will be fruitful. So that was a weird but concise reading. All of a sudden, my sacral chakra feels better. I think I needed to do that for you. So, I'm going to go have a nap. So have a great day. See you.